Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Chucky boy in the house, 81 days till we get to see this Child's Play remake. And man, a bunch of us Chucky fans right now are running around with excitement because WonderCon just wrapped up in California. We got the exciting news that Mark Hamill was cast as Chucky for the 2019 Child's Play remake. If you want my first reactions to that, my general thoughts, everything I think that could be good or bad about it, I'll link it down below or card right above me. With this video right here, we're going to talk about all the new little details that came out for WonderCon. And they did share a lot of things I found kind of fascinating about this movie and gives us a little more insight to what's going on. Not only that, but man, we got ourselves a Chucky laugh, and it is delicious. So let's start off with just a quick recap. I love that Mark Hamill is this new Chucky. I think the man is hugely talented in the voice department, not to mention he's also a big star being associated with Star Wars. That's gonna bring a whole lot of people to watch this movie, and it finally puts to rest those dumb rumors that everybody was mentioning to me that Shiloh Fernandez, some guy I've never heard of, no disrespect to you, Mr. Fernandez, was cast as the voice of Chucky just because Google made a little error when you search for the movie's cast. Sometimes Google makes a mistake, guys, but if your friendly neighborhood Chucky boy doesn't report on it, it's most likely not true. But when we get down to the panel, Mark Hamill wasn't there. That's why we got that little video he put out on his Twitter. But at the panel, we did have Lars Kjellberg, who's going to be the director. We had the producers from It. We have Gabriel Bateman, who's going to be our Andy. We had Aubrey Plaza, who's going to be our mother, Karen. And we have the person who wrote the script, Tyler Burton Smith. So I'm only going to be taking the important details we learned from that. So one thing that they kept mentioning, almost every person on that panel was talking about, is how they loved the script. They just praised it for being emotional, for being relevant, for being something really worthwhile that made them really want to get this project made. And I mean, that's always a great thing when you hear that the story of this movie, the main center focus, the skeletons of this movie is something important and is something to be praised. I guess also take it with a grain of salt. I mean, they're involved with the project, so they're not really going to bash it, but the fact that each one of them just highlighted how much they love the script and that's why they wanted to be part of this movie, that's got to be a good sign for us. Little interesting things that the director or the producer said. I mean, one, they go ahead and poke fun of what if your Alexa decided to kill you, which I think is funny because that's what a bunch of us have been saying, so Chucky's an Alexa now. But another thing that I found really creepy that is true that's happening in real life is that kids nowadays are being left alone with these devices. These phones or toys or things we know that are connected to the internet that can be tapped into, that anyone can listen on, that's collecting information day in and day out from the moment we touch a device. What happens when that device now goes against you and uses everything it's learned to fight you? I mean, that's really scary, and in essence, that's what Buddy is doing in this movie, this new Chucky doll. And I know that's something we learned a long time ago, but I just can't get over how terrifying and scary that's going to play out in the movie, and whatever Andy likes is going to be used against him. Another thing here that was pointed out that I'm really happy with is Lars, the director, pointed out that he heavily wanted practical effects and animatronics used as much as possible throughout the movie. The producer said they were happy with this mindset, but it was a pain in the butt throughout the shoot of the movie. But overall, they didn't want a crap-tacular CGI Chucky running around. The director was quick to point out, though, there are touches of CGI, and that's what we have heard with some of the leaks that have been coming out of that hideous face, and something we'll get to of a promotional image of a new look of Chucky. I'll show you that in a sec. But yeah, the fact that they said they had 10 dolls on set for different occasions, that makes me really happy to know that they're really keeping the atmosphere of practical effects, because that's what makes a horror movie more authentic to me. Sadly, Brian Tyree Henry couldn't make it to the panel, but we did get a little more information about his character. Something that they said that I found interesting was that they said this Brian has a more emotional connection to the character of Andy. Now, what does that mean? We do know from behind the scene images and speculation that we've gotten so far is that one of the friends in this movie, the little friend group that Andy's gonna have in this film, one of those kids, Omar, is the son of Detective Mike Norris in this movie. And we thought that was the big connection there, but the fact that they point out that this is an emotional connection to Andy and Karen, I don't really know what that means. I mean, could he possibly be the love interest to Aubrey Plaza in this movie, trying to hit on her, trying to give her a better life? He could be the type of guy that sees Karen and Andy struggling, being a single family household, and probably just always wants to help out, wants to give them food, wants to come over, wants to hang out, and probably Aubrey Plaza's character is strong and independent and just pushes the guy away a little bit. Or something worse that I'll get to when I describe the footage they showed at WonderCon. But jumping off that, to the friends in this movie who also weren't at the panel, it was just Andy. He was the only kid there. They do mention that these kids are just people who live in the building with Andy. And that again just blows away a lot of our theories going on in this movie. Because we figured at least 2 or maybe 3 of those kids were close friends with Andy and are the reason he stops paying attention to Chucky. And then that makes him want to kill his friends or anyone around him, but Chucky wants to be the only friend in Andy's life. So this could be sort of like a Breakfast Club situation where it's just different kids who happen to be in the same situation, the same building, decide to group together to stop this Chucky when they see him running around at night in their building. Because another little detail that we got was that Andy gets this doll because he's an introvert, basically meaning he likes to hide out in his secluded area, in his room, doesn't really like to socialize. So when he gets Chucky, that becomes his real friend. At one point, Gabriel Bateman says it himself. He treats it like a son, like if that's his child. And I mean, for a 12-year-old boy, that's kind of creepy, but I mean, okay, this is horror. I like creepy. But that just makes it a lot more interesting when it comes time to try and kill this doll. Andy's gonna think of it as its child and is not gonna want to kill it. That's the kind of complicated, twisty stuff I like to hear. And then one of the last little details that we got from this panel that make me a little scared about this project is the fact that they said themselves they had 6 months from a blank script to the movie being finished. In that 6-month period, they created the entire Child's Play remake, and I mean, that sounds rushed to me. If you don't know, movies usually take a lot longer from blank page to it being made, almost a year and a half. So the fact that they really rush this out and then push it to the audience kind of scares me, and it does make me feel a little bit like a cash grab. Like, just put this out there while horror is hot right now. Because the crazy fact is, it takes longer to make a baby than it took to make this Child's Play remake. So I just really hope they just had magic every step of the way. They didn't rush anything. They didn't leave out any great little details in the movie, that they gave everything they could, and this is just not a simple film being thrown out there. Because from everything we're hearing, it sounds complicated, it sounds fun, it sounds interesting, it sounds like a good take on a horror icon. But I mean, just that short little window kind of has me nervous. Okay, now let's get into describing the footage that went on in this Child's Play panel. I'm gonna go ahead and read off what someone described here who attended the panel, and they do have proof. Hell, they even live streamed the panel so I could get all these little details out for you guys. But this is what they're describing that they showed. In the scene, Andy was talking to his mom that he needed to find Chucky. I guess he had hurt someone previously in a different scene, and she acted like he was crazy. He was nearly in tears and said, "Look, I have Omar's phone." And she questioned why he had it, and he said, "It's the only way I could track Chucky." He was pretty beat up, bruised eye, hearing aid almost looked broken, and she stormed out upset, and he yelled, "I have to find Chucky, he's going to kill us." And then it showed a mini trailer with Chucky in a black shadow, like we got to see in that trailer, and then him saying, "Good night, Andy." And of course, that was Mark Hamill's voice. But we did have something official that they released on their own, so they can't get mad if I show this. Thanks to a Twitter user by the name of Chase Hayden, he sent me an Instagram story of some promotional material of them trying to reveal who the voice of Chucky is. Let me play that back for you. That little laugh right there is just a hint of what Mark Hamill is going to do with this Chucky voice. And it sounds amazing to me. It sounds great. Aside from that, we also have this promotional image that they have going on at CinemaCon. This is a different con going on in Las Vegas. And some of the elevators there are printed with this Child's Play promo. And you can zoom in and see Chucky right there. Hey, he's looking better and better, man. I want a full look at this doll already. We got the voice. We got a trailer. Just give us the whole look of this doll, man. Here's one thing that we got way back when all this news was coming out, that this Chucky, when he goes evil or when he comes to life, his eyes will glow red. And you can kind of see that here. His eyes are definitely glowing red. I thought it was gonna look cheap and weird and just have the eyes pure red, but the way they're making it glow as sort of part of the iris of the eye looks pretty damn cool in my opinion, and sort of Terminator-ish. But when getting back to that footage description, there's something here that Andy brought up, that they're tracking Chucky with this phone. And this is something that was brought up to me when we were doing a video on the advanced test screenings. I have a video in that description card right above me, but basically, one of the things that my source was telling me, because again, I didn't ask for spoilers, but I asked him, why didn't you like the movie? Because he specifically told me he didn't enjoy it. And he said, without getting into it too much, they said that these kids have a way to prove Chucky is alive, to prove Chucky is going around killing, to prove that Chucky is out and about. And they never once take it to the police, they never once show it to another adult. They just keep it to themselves, and it's a major plot hole throughout the movie. And then when we got footage description of this scene, I guess he was telling the truth. Because Andy right there says he takes Omar's phone. And to me, where is Omar and why does he have his phone? Could this be the little connection that Detective Mike Norris has to the family? Does Omar's son die early on in the movie? One of the first victims of Chucky? That would make for a crazy little twist. But that's just my speculation. I don't know that for sure. But I mean, Omar needs a phone too, bro. So don't be stealing his phone. But anyways, with this doll being so advanced, it would come with an app so you could do extra things with it. And I'm assuming with this app, you'll be able to see through the the eyes of Chucky. You'll be able to GPS tracks it if someone steals it. So they have a device proving everything Chucky's doing, and supposedly they do nothing with it but just try and find where he's at. Hopefully the movie explains it better, and hopefully it's a thing that Chucky can turn on and off just to tease Andy where he's at, where he's going, and then turns it off when Andy wants to show an adult or give it to the police. I mean, they could have reshot a lot of stuff after those test screenings, so we'll just have to wait and see. You have to remember the test screenings didn't have Mark Hamill's voice as Chucky, so that alone is going to enhance the movie almost 50% to me. So anyone who saw the movie at the test screening could go from being a bad movie to this is a pretty good movie. But anyways, guys, that's just everything we learned from WonderCon 2019. I'm loving all this information. Let me know what you guys gathered from all this stuff. But be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.